All right. Well, it wasn't that long ago that Theresa May, the British Prime Minister, was talking about Britain's saying enough is enough. Unfortunately, with her constant responses to that degree, including this latest one, she did not exactly encourage much confidence. This is what I mean. Take a look.
This morning, our country woke to news of another terrorist attack on the streets of our capital city. The second this month, and every bit as sickening as those which have come before.
All right, so former UK Parliament member John Browne. And John, you know, that's the kind of thing that does little to inspire confidence or set, fragile nerves at ease, that maybe this just isn't her strength. But when she keeps coming before the British people to calm them down and show how vigilant she's going to be and that this is enough, and when it keeps happening, she's not making her case, is she?
Well, not really, I suppose, because maybe that a lot of that is secret. If anyone knew the answer to terrorism and how to expose it from the camouflage of working within the population, they'd be a legend throughout the Western world. So it's a very difficult problem, particularly now that explosives and vehicles have become so easy to rent and get hold of and to deploy. But as your last speaker, Ben, said, the real accent should be on people being much more aware. They've got to contribute as well as the government has. The response in London and in other things in Paris and in Britain have been pretty good by the forces of law and order, but it's a very difficult problem.
You know what I think, and we haven't had a chance to talk about the recent British elections and how terror might have factored in there, but this notion that normally there's a rally around the flag, a rally around the leader in times like these. It did not happen this time, maybe owing to the fact that in her prior role, handling security for the British people, she was deemed to have let a lot of things slip through the cracks, and this idea of rallying around the leader didn't materialize. What is going on here? Because this would be the first time such a thing has happened.
Well, I think you're absolutely right. She was deemed to be part of a government under Cameron that had allowed borders to be wide open, had actually almost cut some of the resources for law and order, and therefore she was associated with that government, and I think you're right, she did suffer because of that. This is seen as a politician's problem. It is the weak-kneed left-wing politicians that have allowed the open borders and have created this problem. Meanwhile, they call for citizens to not have any weapons to defend themselves. It's an amazing conundrum. And as it's shown in the United States Congress just today, congressmen, having allowed this to happen in America, now want to be allowed to carry guns, where they're trying to stop people carrying guns in certain states.
Real quickly, the French president was seizing maybe on some of these developments and what unites Europe in the battle against terror to remind the Brits that they can still stay within the European Union, that it is still possible and not too late for them to rethink this. What did you think of that?
Well, it looked to me to be bluff, which is always bad going into a negotiation. But I think underneath it, what they're trying to do is to encourage the anti-Brexit forces within the United Kingdom and to give them hope that they'll be able to sabotage Brexit. Meanwhile, Prime Minister May has shown her real determination by extending the Parliament to 2 years, her determination to deliver the Brexit that the British people voted for, and if possible, a clean break and one with a smooth transition. I think that's what she's aiming at. And first of all, of course, they have to establish the process by which this negotiation must happen, and then to get out of the single market, out of the from under the European Court of Justice, and to achieve the return of our sovereignty, our laws, and our borders.
So real quickly, if the vote were to happen all over again, do you think it would go the same way on Brexit?
You know, it's like asking me, that's like asking me who would win the Kentucky Derby if they ran the race again. I don't know.
It is, yeah. I don't know either. All right. I'd check with you. All right, John Browne, thank you very, very much.